welcome back to the channel. Many tennis players, star tennis players, have huge followings and fan bases online and around the world. It's our job to piss off every single one of them. Feel lucky if your favourite player isn't mentioned here. And if we piss you off, then we've done our job properly.
Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up in a new whip every other week. Every dress so fly, everybody know me.
Alright, starting with Daniil Medvedev. If any of you guys say Medvedev, you already know the kind of rage I'm gonna have. Trying to hurt a Medvedev fan by insulting him is like trying to hurt a masochist by punching them. You guys know that Medvedev will never win another slam and is destined to continually choke in the biggest moments. His US Open 2021 title was a fluke, where he had a pathetic draw to the final and beat up on an exhausted Djokovic. He didn't achieve anything in his short stint as number one, and outside of a flash in the Pan tournament in Rome last year, he embarrasses himself on clay and gets a free pass because he makes goofy jokes and has funny expressions.
This is gonna be on tennis TV, bro.
This means he also gets a free pass on his constant temper tantrums and acting like a 5-year-old when things don't go his way, despite being dumb enough to get caught trying to allegedly hook up with a 17-year-old back in 2020. Notice how I didn't even mention losing 2 slam finals from 2 sets up. Just sad.
Very sad for Medvedev. Known to Yannick Sinner, the latest bandwagon for all the casual tennis fans. So Yannick's meteoric rise, which has been not unexpected but surprising, paired with his humble, boring personality, has led him to become extremely popular amongst casual tennis fans, which is why I take so much joy in this. Sinner was a complete joke in Grand Slams last year. I mean, you had the Australian Open, losing to Tsitsipas, losing to fucking Altmaier, the French Open, piss poor draw at Wimbledon to get spanked in the semis, and then again flopping at the US Open to Zverev. His highlights were winning the Masters 1000 where he beat Paul and De Minaur, big whoop. An ATP finals run where the reward was getting his ass kicked by Novak in the final, in front of his home crowd. He is probably the best player in the world right now on form, but you all know he was really lucky to get over the line in Australia. Djokovic had his illness, and Medvedev sucks, especially when he goes up 2 sets to love in an Aussie Open final. And this form won't last forever. We're in clay season. He's already lost to Tsitsipas, and it's not going to continue. And the Karota Boys thing is incredibly fucking cringe.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that he's ginger.
I know that's the worst part.
Yeah.
And from someone with a boring personality to someone with a just terrible personality, where do you even begin on Alexander Zverev, the worst person to ever be born on April 20th? Anyone who roots for this guy, this piece of shit, just blocks out everything about him on and off the court. Even if you disregard the alleged violent crimes, this guy's one of the biggest underachievers we've ever seen at Grand Slam level. He's made 1 Grand Slam final appearance, and he's had multiple 2-set lead chokes in the slams. He should have at least 3 Grand Slams right now, and you guys all know this. And he should be the clear top dog of this next gen. He'll forever be known as a woman-beating piece of shit who bashes his racket off umpire chairs, talks shit about Medvedev on Netflix just to get repeatedly beaten by him. And just when you think he's finally going to put it all together and win a Grand Slam, he finds a spectacular way to embarrass himself once again. I get second-hand embarrassment from watching him just try to hit fucking second serve. So yeah, fuck Zverev.
It is crazy how in Breakpoint he was like portrayed as like this really nice guy who was like enemies with the villain Medvedev.
Yeah, well, lovely guy. Wouldn't you want to have your daughter date him?
For sure. The ultimate woman respecter. On to Andrei Rublev, the guy who has the same name as a Russian painter from back in the day, but will still never be as relevant as him. Honestly, this feels completely pointless. Let's face facts. You aren't actually tennis fans. You just follow Rublev because you think he's cute, and he has that kind of humble personality and makes the ladies wet. But here's the truth. This whole shtick means Rublev can essentially get away with murder and scream at umpires, line judges, and cameramen all he wants, and get basically no shit for it. Oh yeah? And when it comes to his actual tennis career, all he's known for is continuously embarrassing himself in Grand Slam quarterfinals. His fluke-ass Monte Carlo title last year thanks to Rune choking. His style of play is extremely boring. He has 0 variation or plan B when he can't beat someone by bashing every ball at 90 miles per hour. And yet somehow this guy is the fucking cockroach of the top 10, despite never being a threat to win anything important.
It's so annoying how Joey doesn't seem like he'll ever fall at the top 10, even no matter how shit he plays for extended periods.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have that same kind of like feel as all the other top 10 players where like you think on a good day they could potentially take out the best. With Rublev, you never get that feeling. On to the golden boy, Carlos Alcaraz. Now, am I even speaking to anyone here? It seems like most Alcaraz fans were actually just Federer or Nadal fans who have now bandwagoned onto Sinner. Alcaraz was up a set in 4-2, 15-love against Djokovic in the Cincinnati final last year and held match point and still went on to lose the match. And it took him 7 months just to get back to the final of a tournament. Like it or not, there's a reason he's being compared to Leighton Hewitt. The media hype Alcaraz got for winning a slam and becoming number one, thanks to Djokovic being banned, is ridiculous. For all his talent and spectacular shot making, he doesn't have a great serve, and it's clear opponents are starting to figure out how to play against him. And he doesn't even know how to wipe his ass without Juan Carlos Ferreira coaching him and giving him emotional support.
He tried to push and push and push all the time.
He just got injured again as I said this.
Yeah, I literally just heard it. He literally just injured his knee on a coffee table. So he's going to be out for 2 weeks. Sorry to report that, guys. Now we get into the heavy stuff. The stuff that's really going to piss people off. The big four. Do we have a lot to say about these guys? And we'll start with everyone's favourite Serbian. Now, like, I'm not going to lie. Yes, I am a Djokovic fan. But I find it makes I'll take it easy on him. Think again. Djokovic fans are largely entitled and annoying, and they'll basically overlook anything he does wrong. I don't care what your stance is on the whole vaccine thing. It was his choice to miss so many tournaments. And don't act like he's exempt of blame, or he would have easily 100% won all the events he didn't play. And this covers up the fact that Novak only won 3 Grand Slams from 2012 to 2014 at his peak. That's completely embarrassing. And he completely choked away many opportunities to win more. And the fact that you guys gloss over his 2009, 2010, 2017, even the first half of 2018 seasons, where he was pretty much all dog shit outside of a few tournaments, it gets glossed over because you can never acknowledge that he was a bad player or that he ever played below an elite level. He's largely inflated his slam count after turning 30 because he's had favourable draws and he's largely beat up on inexperienced kids. As much as you try to diminish it, yes, the Olympics do matter. And to not even have a silver medal there in singles in 4 appearances is a disgrace. Novak fans are largely some of the most insecure people you'll meet, despite the fact that he basically has GOAT status sealed to like 99% of people. And he holds nearly every important record. And he hasn't beat a top 5 player in international competition, Davis Cup or Olympics. And he benefited massively from Federer declining and all of Nadal's injuries, whether you like it or not. And imagine losing a Masters 1000 to fucking Casper Ruud. Come on.
Yeah, it is crazy how, like, even with him being the GOAT, with all the numbers and everything, all of his fans are still just like fucking crazy, will die for him and died to just tell everyone he's the best.
Yeah, it really is embarrassing.
On to my favorite Big 3, Big 4 member, but he still has his own problems, and his fans are fucking cancer. Rafael Nadal. Oh boy, where do I start on Rafael Nadal Pereira? Rafa fans are mostly just deluded clowns who live in the past and cherry pick stats instead of just admitting he's not the greatest ever and never has been. You all try to deny that he's a clay merchant, which is hilarious. Without having competition on clay, and Tony Nadal forcing him to play left-handed when he would have just been another Juan Carlos Ferreira or Sergei Bruguera, this PED using fraud largely gets his Uncle Tony to do all his dirty work and shit-talking of the media so he can keep up this incredibly cringe false image of being humble and a nice guy, and you dumbasses eat all that shit up. He hasn't made a Wimbledon final since Aaron Hernandez was an NFL player. He never won an ATP Finals title, yet you all try to downplay that as if it doesn't matter. Spoiler alert, it does. And choose to hype up a gold medal he won in 2008 thanks to beating fucking Fernando Gonzalez. What an achievement. Did you know that the humble King Rafa, who doesn't care about stats and just wants to have fun, chose to play the US Open in 2022 instead of staying home with his fucking pregnant wife while she was having birth complications? Both his Grand Slam titles in 2022 were a fucking joke. And that was the last thing you actually had to celebrate rooting for this guy, as he hasn't done shit since, besides pulling out of tournaments and talk about Djokovic in interviews, who he hasn't won a set on hardcore against since 2013.
Truly unbelievable.
Very unbelievable.
Unbelievable, no.
Down to Roger Federer. Despite Roger being retired for nearly 2 years now, he still attracts a large fan base on Twitter because of his highlights and his achievements, mostly from people who never experienced 90% of it. Here are the cold hard truths on Federer's career. He was average at best for the first few years of his career, when the competition was actually good. Outside of a select few tournaments, Sydney Olympics, Wimbledon 2001, Hamburg 02, before he finally broke through in 2003 After Pete Sampras was retired, Agassi was riddled with back injuries, and we officially entered probably the weakest era, one of, if not the weakest eras of tennis we've ever seen. For the next 6 years, he largely went on to absolutely dominate on hard courts and grass, thanks to his weak-ass competition, and his biggest rival Nadal being 5 years younger. Once Nadal, Djokovic, hell, even Murray and Del Potro broke through, the slams and achievements in general really plummeted for Roger.
This is where his cult fan base tend to use the typical excuse that he suddenly got old and was past his prime. Even though he magically came back to win 3 slams in the span of a year once, Djokovic, Murray, and several other top players had significant injuries. This is also how you bootlickers excuse the many chokes of Federer's career. I know you've tried to convince yourself 40-15 doesn't hurt anymore, but you all know that was his golden opportunity to forever steal the GOAT status from Djokovic. He absolutely shit his pants at the worst possible moment. No amount of Twitter threads, mental gymnastics, or what-ifs will change that, and fuck him for being friends with Harvey Weinstein and Bill Gates.
And now I have to basically commit treason for a Scotsman. I have to slander my own countryman, my own national hero, Andy Murray. You know, it feels like borderline treason to even criticise anything he did, but it has to be done. And it brings me no pleasure to do this. Stop putting Andy Murray in conversations he does not belong in, or acting like if he played in another era, that he would have broke every record and been the greatest of all time. What Murray's achieved is incredible, and we largely excuse his shortcomings because of it. Did you know that Murray, from 2012 to 2016, had 7 losses in Grand Slams to non-Big Three players? Losing 5 Australian Open finals, where you didn't even go to a deciding set at least once, is nearly as embarrassing regardless of context. Outside of 2016, he was pretty much a career underperformer at the ATP finals. But really, it's pointless to poke holes in what Murray achieved when he was actually a good player. So here's what really hurts. Murray, since 2016, has been nothing but a fucking pain to watch, and we all deny it because we try to hang on to the glory years. I have absolutely no joy in watching a guy with one hip stumble around the court, refuse to adapt his playstyle to be more aggressive, despite being 36 years old and having one hip, and consistently scraping through round 1 matches just to get ran over in his next match. It's likely Murray will retire this year, but we know he should have done this about 5 years ago. Oh wait, that didn't piss you off? Well, here's something that will. Scotland are never going to win anything at international level, and we hype up mediocre players like John McGinn and Scott McTominay like they're Ballon d'Or winners. We're going out in the group stage at Euros again, if you like it or not.
That was very deep. Let us know in the comments if you have any other players that you want us to talk about their fan base to trigger them, because we know there's plenty of more of them out there.
Thanks for watching. I've been Cam Williams.
Yeah, thanks for watching. I'm also Cam Williams.
And go watch Game 2 of the 1991 NBA Finals. Great performance by Michael Jordan.